Will you share the recording later? Okay. So this is on the context of managing Desktop Central, the tool that we were discussing last time. Okay. Now let me share the screen. Yeah, I hope the screen is visible, right?
Yes, boss.
Okay. Now, last time we had a discussion on the initial inventory, the patch management, the inventory menus, what all we have, agent installation, what are the various modes of agent installation, what are the various modes of discovery of computers, so on and so forth. Right? Now, if you all recall, probably I'll just put the same question again. Any questions on or any clarification that you need on what we discussed last time from the inventory portion or from the patch management portion or from the APD task or prohibit software, block executable, the scheduler, database update, system health policy, all the menus that we saw earlier. Okay. Okay. If silence is the case, then probably we'll leave that context and go on to the next one, that is software management. So how we are installing the patches, right? From the Windows patches, non-Windows patches, application level patches, bug fixes, feature packs, and all, right? In a similar fashion, whenever there is a requirement from a user of the organization, or whenever there is a requirement from the project and the project team members from the enterprise organization level, instead of we doing the patch installation by sharing the MSI file, exe file, or by copying the MSI file, exe file to the user PC, or by taking a remote control, or by sharing the admin permissions to the user, which is all non-compliant, not audited, we can make use of this endpoint management tool to do that installation, uninstallation of applications. So when I say installation, uninstallation of applications, precisely we go with this two formats, which is MSI format and exe format, right? If it is any other format apart from MXI exe, then probably you might need to take a help of a script to do that respect to other extension installations of the applications, right? Now to start, how you do it is you need to first create a package on the console. Now, how are we going to create a package? You need to have the respect to exe or the MSI file downloaded, copied to the respective software repository onto the console. Once done, you will be able to come onto the software management packages here on the left-hand side, add a package for Windows and Mac. Normally installations we do on Windows and Mac from the UI level, right? So we are running these two OS levels here. If it is Windows, you select the Windows, you provide a name there, something like this. What package type is it? Is it an MSI or EXE? These are the two main format extensions that we see across the globe towards application installer when we download from online. If it is MXI, you select MXI, it will have its own arguments below. If it is EXE, you select EXE, you will have its own arguments below. Number one. Number two is, as an admin, when I am pushing the application from the centralized console like this to the user PCs, 99.99% it will be a licensed software only, right? 99.99% it will be a licensed software only, and that you will be selecting from the here commercial application or commercial software, which is licensed, procured by the organization. There are only few scenarios where we go with non-commercial license, which will be case-to-case basis. Example, users do not have any access to for installation of applications on their PCs, and they put a request on a special note to the administrator. Administrator will do the trial installation or evaluation copies or test installation onto the user PCs by selecting this non-commercial. The reason you see here it is mandate is from an audit point of view, from a reporting point of view, this will help us at what level of application installation and installation is happening. Is it a purchased one from the organization or a non-purchased from the organization? And where this exe MSI file is copied available currently? Is it on the local computer where the desktop central application is already installed and running? If yes, you go ahead and select the absolute path of that file from your repository. It can be locally from the server or it can be anywhere at your share, right? And then you come down on the installation tab when you're going for an installation. Installation, it can be three things. Before installation, you do a check for a few things. That is pre-checks, pre-deployment task. Then you go for installations. Once the installation is done, you might go for some post checks. You can try all three, but all three are not mandated, right? So normally we start with installation. If it is an exe format of installation, what is the silent argument for that? So -I here is a silent argument for this setup file which I'm trying to install. This is one example. And this silent argument is not common or not unique across all installations. It will vary from vendor to vendor, application to application, OEM to OEM. So we can ask the OEM, the vendor, or customer to get the silent arguments. We can also go on Google and do a search for the silent arguments. Once we have the respective switches given, then we can provide here and come down to pre-checks. If any pre-checks are required, like doing a checksum registry value or creating some file or a folder manually or cleaning up the disk space, something like this, you add that accordingly and create it. Like what it will be happening inside that, what file you're wanting to create, what action you're wanting to create is what you define. Right? Similarly, you also do a check for your post activities after installation. After installation for security applications or for management applications, for example, right? We have to start the service, right? So that service starting we can trigger by specifying the name of the service. Start the service, automatic by default, and click on save and continue. So that way you provide the details like this and go ahead and click on add package under installation, because this is an installation package which I'm trying to create. On the other side, when I'm going to do an installation of the softwares from the console in bulk, right? I can as well do an uninstallation of the softwares as well in bulk. So that we can do from the uninstallation tab. Same thing, uninstallation switches like -U, -U or -yes, something like that. It will again vary, as I said earlier. Some pre-checks, some post checks, and click on add package. Besides that, you also have some advanced settings. If any version specific settings need to be there, if any retry specific settings need to be there, if some architecture specific settings need to be there of that MSI or EXE, you can specify here. which is not mandate. If it is required only, you can come here and mention. If not, you can ignore it. Target only on this installation and installation tabs. So this way, you'll be able to create a package and have the package saved in your repository of packages on the console like this. What are all the packages that you have created, all will be seen here. That is step number 1 of creating of a package of any MSI or EXE for Windows or for Mac. Right? Once this is done, we can go forward to deploy this package onto some targets where you are intending to do it. And that you come here under deployment tab, install, uninstall software, Windows, Mac and Linux, Windows user specific, computer specific, Mac computer specific, Linux computer specific, right? For Windows, you have two options here if you observe. User specific configuration, computer specific configuration. You know the difference, right? If I go with user specific on the same machine, if multiple users are using, it will be applicable to the respective user. If it is computer specific configuration, irrespective of the user who is logging into the PC, that application will be visible. Similarly for Mac and Linux. So we can go for the respective option based on the call which user is asking. You provide a name for that configuration. The operation that you're trying to do it is an installation operation or an uninstallation operation. You do a selection. Package name. The package that you have already created on the backend, you do a drop down and select it. Install as system user, which is system default user, which is logged in, or run as administrator. Right? Normally we go with the second option. System user is also used, but case to case basis, it will vary. The recommended one, actually mostly seen one and used one is run as user, where you drop down to select the admin user. Again, scheduler options. How we saw for patch management, right? In a similar way, install after some time interval that you specify here. Do not apply this configuration after the specified window. So I'm going to do this installation from evening 6:40 till next day morning 7:40, sorry, 9:40, which is after working hours. So that way you will be also put a restriction of this installation, when to start the installation and when to have this installation to be active and not to disturb the user performance during the working window. Deployment policy. Like how we have seen for the patch management, right? You have a deployment policy when you want to have this deployment to be triggered Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, what time to what time, and so on and so forth. That deployment policy as well, you can drop down and select as per your practices of your organization. And then you come down to select the targets where you want to push this. Domain, computer, IP address, the processor, the OS, the type of machine, or a group that you have. Apply this configuration at every startup. Apply this configuration, the refresh interval, that is 90th minute. Retry this configuration on failed attempts, 2, 0, 1. So what all the retry intervals that you want to put here, you can put here, and you can as well enable notifications at every some number of hours and days to a said email address, and deploy or deploy immediately. Deploy is in the refresh interval, that is 90th minute. Deploy immediately is on demand, which will get triggered immediately at that point in time. Right? So that way you'll be able to create the package, and the created package you'll be able to push to the respective targets by running through this configuration wizard. All the configurations that you have applied, triggered from your console will be visible here on the left-hand side, view configurations, where you can have a look and understand its status. Is it successfully done or ready to execute or failed, and so on and so forth. In case if it is failed, you will also be able to see what is the reason for failure, and you can take a call from there. These many number of systems were targeted, out of which the respective color of number will show how many are successful, how many are failed, how many are retry in progress, not applicable, so on and so forth. And you also have a button here called refresh, where you can have a refresh of the browser at that point in time of the configuration and see to have a look of the current status. In case if you feel or think that you would like to do some modifications on that configuration after it is pushed, you can come down and do a modification like this. And if you feel or think that the deployed software installation and installation is creating some issues, you can as well suspend that by clicking on suspend. The suspended, deleted configuration, if you feel or think that it is not required to be seen in your inventory, you can move to trash by deleting it. We want to save the modified template, save the configuration as a template. So this is where we have to talk about templates. Now, template is nothing but a library that you can use it for future purpose. Example, O365 Outlook configuration or Outlook installation, which is a common mail client application that will be used in case if we are using our mail access via Outlook as a practice in the organization. Today we have only 1,000 users, so we would have done it and would have kept it aside. But as an organization, users will be keep coming in and going out, right? So we need to have that particular configuration also saved as a template that we can use it in the future whenever there is a requirement. So at that point in time, the configuration that you have done, you can also save as a template by clicking on Save Template, and the template will be saved and visible here on the left-hand side, Templates library. It has few predefined library of templates which are well-knownly seen and heard from the market. Besides that, we can also have our custom configuration templates added to the list as well, like printer configuration, .NET, uh, Teams installation. You well-knownly heard things are there. As you scroll down for Windows and see, you'll find many like that. Adobe, Acrobat, App Dynamics. It has some 600 to 800 templates which are there by default that we can use it, across to our regular usage that we do at our organization. You can just directly go ahead, create. You check the template, create the package, and trigger it from there itself instantaneously. Crash is nothing but deleted, suspended, not suspended, the deleted configurations will be seen under your trash folder. Self-service portal is, as an organization, we know that for the user, irrespective of their role and designation in the organization, there could be few predefined applications which are mandate for everyone, like Outlook client, their Teams application, Acrobat Reader, for example, these three applications. So today we have some 100 users in the organization. So we have configured one package and installation went on and users are using it. Tomorrow, some 10 people are coming. Again, we have to create the package or we need to deploy the already created package by editing the targets and we need to do a redeployment. So this is going to be an ongoing activity for the administrator. So to prevent that ongoing activities, what administrator can do is they can qualify those 3 to 4 applications which are well knownly seen and heard across the users of the organization and publish as packages to the respect to user self-service portal, where once the applications are verified and published to the computer or to the user profile, whenever the user, you see here, right, self-service portal on the right-hand side bottom, on the desktop central tray icon, whenever they open the self-service portal, this published applications will be seen there. You can just click on that, install it by yourself whenever it is required and start to use it on the go. No need to wait till the administrator installs, approves it from his side, because already it is approved and pushed to your console. So you can install it whenever you would like to start to use it. Nothing but as simple as that, like how you install the apps from your Play Store, right? And this is the self-service portal reports that we have. So how many users are using the self-service portal? How many installations were successful, failure? Those ROI calculation can be derived from here. And so self-service portal usage report, another one. And here you have some settings with respect to all these menus. Software repository. So the repository, I was telling you, right? You can have all your softwares, right? Be it a catalog of softwares that you're copying manually at each point in time. In case if you're wanting to have a record of all such applications that are getting deployed from the desktop central console at a centralized storage from an audit point of view, or from a future reference point of view, you can create a new share and provide the share path here, or an existing share from the absolute path of desktop central server or from a remote path of a desktop central server, and have all the software MSI exe packages recorded, saved there with some authentication from a security point of view. Similarly, HTTP repository as well, where you want to upload, download some reports, sorry, some softwares. Similarly, your script repository. As I said, right, for few of the applications to install, we might require some scripts. So those scripts we can also add on the console and use it on the go whenever you are having these installations and installations taken. So instead of taking them explicitly outside the server or copying explicitly outside the server, where every possibility of missing or information lost will be there, you will be able to make use of the script repository on the console, store the scripts at the same place where you have the applications as well. And auto update templates. So few of the softwares that we are installing, right? For example, Acrobat Reader version 16 or .NET version 22, right? So this is the current version that we are installing today. After a couple of weeks or a couple of months, a new version will be coming out. And those versions, if you're wanting to have them updated automatically to your repository, updated automatically onto the self-service portal, you can have this enabled by selecting the respective predefined applications. and push it to the respective user self-service portal so that the latest version will be available for them whenever they are trying to not download, install it from the self-service login. Right? Proxy settings. For any kind of example, this auto update only, right? If my desktop central is having a direct internet access to internet, I can remove the proxy and have the connection taken directly to internet, right? In case if a proxy is required as per my network communication, then I would be going it to specify the proxy details, either manually or from a script. This is just for communication. And this is deployment policies, like how we saw a deployment policy wizard for the patch management. In a similar way, you have a deployment policy wizard here. When you want to push the policy, at what timestamp, at what duration, pre-checks, post-checks, restart, not restart, and all. That list as well. And this is self-service portal settings that you have. If you want to show this self-service portal setting on the startup menu, you can check this as an icon. You can enable it on the tray. You can enable it. That is this one. We just saw here, right? Self-service portal, that menu. And if you want to customize that icon that is showing up, you can rebrand that, putting your custom logo and all. ROI settings, automate settings, and to have this thing to be enabled and running visible on the Windows platform, .NET 4.0 is a minimum version that would be required. Right? So that way we'll be able to make use of the software management menu explicitly whenever we are wanting to do this, installations and installations in bulk or at a mass level in our organization. Yeah, finally, this self-service portal is loaded. So this is a catalog where the application name, the version, and all will be seen. You see action here, right? On the action, we'll be having install button. When we qualify and publish, you can just click on install, and that will try to install it directly onto your computer. Right? So any questions so far on the software management? And this software management menu, the nomenclature, the navigation that we have seen from the package creation, template, repository, and configurations, right, is common across all the endpoint management solutions that we see in the market. Same MSI exe format with a script, without script, argument passage, and pushing it to the respective targets. Okay. Now, a continuation here. Earlier, we discussed on patch management from a security point of view, vulnerability point of view. Now we discussed just now on the software management from a software installation and installation point of view. Apart from patch, install, uninstall, and software install, uninstall, from an organization point of view, or from the administrator point of view, or from the technician operations point of view, there could be many other activities that we do apart from software and patch, right? So that apart from patch and software, that many more things that we do, right, is what we'll be able to do from this configurations menu. Again, these configurations that we are intending to do day in, day out to the user PCs will be with respect to the OS, right? So Windows, Mac, and Linux, three flavors that we have. With respect to Windows, what all we can do on the user PC is this list. You can configure some alerts. You can put some browser level, whenever you go to some of your customer places, right? Whenever they initially open up a browser, that will be landing at their company website. So that restriction you can push from here. If there is any certificate pushing that you have to do towards SSL, right? That certificate deployment as well you can do from here. Folder redirection, your desktop background, this desktop background as well. Whenever you see, right, you will have some company practices on the right hand side, some logo, some escalation practices and all, right? So those images as well, you can push from here in a prescribed format. Environmental variable for some of the applications, and securing your USB, like, protecting the USB access, and MS Office, Outlook configuration, your Exchange profile, registry, services action, Wi-Fi management, user management, like creation of a user, managing a user, and so on and so forth, right? So these are well-knownly seen and heard operations that we have from a regular technician operations. This as well, we can trigger in a similar format that we wanted to do. Example, registry. You click on that registry option here, user specific or computer specific. If it is computer specific, I click on computer configuration. That will take me to a configuration wizard. Am I putting these registry entries manually, or am I importing it from a file? Right? Registry updates, registry keys can be created manually by opening the regedit on the system. Or if you're exporting the data in a reg format of a file, we can as well import that on another PC where you're wanting to push the similar configuration. So we can do it in either way. Right key, delete key, add key, which path you want to do it, local machine or default, the key name, the type, the value, and the data. If you're wanting to put multiple entries at the same time, one after the other, you can just go ahead and add, select the targets, and push it towards the systems. It's as simple as that. The wizard will be same, patch the same wizard, software the same wizard, even configurations also, the wizard is same. Printer configuration, user specific or computer specific. This is the FQDN or IP address of the network printer, the protocol at which you are wanting to install, on what port number, on what port, and the driver. If you are having multiple floors and multiple buildings spread across, putting the installation manually at each and every location could be tedious. So this menu would help us to do the printer configuration. So many other things like that for Windows. And this list, what you see, is bigger compared to Mac and Linux. Mac is having few operations like this, and Linux is having few operations like this. Similar to software management, all that are also available as templates, which are well knownly seen and heard from the market, like date change, uh, local administrator password reset, proxy settings on internet browser, disk defragmentation, automatic updates, disabling, enabling. So all those well only seen and heard things that we see in the market, right? Few things are there. If we are wanting to use it to our organization practices, we can very well apply that directly by clicking on create configuration. So all the entries will be there by default from the template. We can just go ahead and verify and select the targets and push it. If any user specific that you're wanting to do it as per your choice, customly, apart from the predefined library, you also have an option of new template here, where you can create the template, save it for your repository, and then push the template from the configurations, that is from your all configurations. The deleted configurations from here will be seen here under trash before going out from the system. And that, if you want to clear from here, you can very well clear it. Right? The secure USB menu that you enable, that specific audit information will be here with respect to the usage and with respect to the policy. How many are secured, how many are not secure, who and all are using it, what file they are trying to copy in and out, what device ID they are wanting to copy in and out. There is a small try here, probably it could be interesting. I'll explain that on a secure USB computer. Now here, these are all the USB communication that we do, right? Mouse, disk drive, CD-ROM, portable devices, floppy disk, printer, modem, USB devices, right? All these devices, we can completely block or we can completely unblock. When I'm wanting to completely block, it will be blocked for everyone. Or when I'm wanting to completely unblock, it will be open for everyone. So in that case, there is every possibility of vulnerability. So in this case, what I would like to do is I'll block for everyone. In that, I will exclude few users or few devices or few vendors. And there is every possibility of that users getting exchange, devices getting exchange, right? I can take your device and plug into my system. It will get open. You can take my device and plug into your system. It will open. So again, there is a possibility of security threat. So to have a call on that, what is recommended approach here is not to go by user or not to go by vendor. Instead, we go by the device identifier, that is device instance. Device instance is nothing but it's a unique 16-digit number that will be given to your USB device when you plug into your system. It will be giving you that 16-digit number on your device manager. You take the device manager device instance ID, which will be giving from the respect to hardware manufacturer of that USB stick or USB device. Click on add it and then put that under exceptions, which will be much secure. No one can steal it, no one can access it. So wherever that is getting used, it will be blocked because you're putting a control on the device itself, not on the port. So that way it would be more secure what all you can allow and what all you can block. Example, you can have multiple things, L1 people, right? Trainees, everything to be blocked. Team leaders, partial restriction. Managers, a bit more partial restriction. VIP users and management, everything to be open. So that way you can put multiple policies and push it onto the respective targets and groups that you have. And you can do an audit of that. And that will be visible here under your USB reports and configuration reports. Right? That is configurations. Now, we saw the patch operations, software operations, and configuration operations. Now with this, what I feel is 70% of the day in, day out admin operations and technician operations are covered here. But still there is a gap of another 30%, right? what is that or how that is covered from an endpoint management tool like this, right? So that will be seeing here under tools. Okay. In these tools, it is giving us some menus or some options that are handy to the day in, day out technician operations or technician troubleshooting. If I take the word troubleshooting will be good here. Now user is complaining that he's having some problem on his laptop and I have to do some troubleshooting. How do I do it? I cannot keep exchanging the mails, which is ever ending, right? So instead, after exchanging some emails and coming to the right issue that the customer is facing, I can come on remote control like this and initiate a remote control from the menu itself by clicking on connect. To click on connect and to have the session launched, right? The system should be in green. The icon should be in green. That is in communication to the DC console. Only then I'll be able to initiate a connect operation here and take control of the user PC and take the troubleshooting, right? That is number one. Number two, you see this, something is getting highlighted here. Prompt the user for confirmation before I take control of the system. From a compliance point of view, without acknowledgement confirmation from the user sitting on the other side, you cannot forcibly take the control of his PC. Point to be remembered. Even customer says, no, I do not want this option. You have to recommend and tell him from a security practice point of view and from an ISO compliance point of view, this is required, right? That is number two. Number three, I, as an agent, I have taken control of your PC with your acknowledgement. I did some troubleshooting and that troubleshooting has created some issue on the backend. And some of your applications are not working, right? Which could be a general scenario, human errors, right? So what all I have done, I might not be able to explain correctly, right? That could also be a possibility. When my communication is not good, I'm not able to put the right context in the right format. There is a scenario. So to prevent those kind of observations, for end user pieces, it is okay. But for server operating systems, we cannot take chances, right? So for those critical operating systems, to an extent, your client operating systems as well, we need to have a recording. So each and every remote control that the agent is taking from the DC console will be going for a recording from the timestamp of session initiating till the timestamp of closing the session by the user or by the agent. And that will be stored in the application repository itself. And this screen recording for critical operating system, that is server operating systems, Windows Server, Linux servers, or to an extent Mac server as well, is required from an ISO compliant point of view. There is a point. Because as an agent, when I'm taking a remote control of a server, why you have taken a remote control? What is the proof you have? Or what is the proof you have that what troubleshooting you did there or what changes you did there? You need to throw an audit, right? So this will throw as an audit whenever there is a need on the backend. Right now, we have only one option to enable across all the systems, that is client operating system and server operating system as one. And there is an enhancement which is already coming in picture to enable this recording separately for servers and separately for client operating system as an option. History, you will see who took the remote control at what timestamp of which computer and how long the recording, how long the session was running, and what is the recording of that. And that recording will be saved here, will be seen here under download video as a link. You can click on that link, the file will be downloaded to your PC. You can play that video as well, which will be a quick motion picture. And this settings is something which is self-explanatory. What all you want to have, alphanumeric, alpha capturing and all. And this is performance with respect to remote office wise, with respect to the communication, how the remote office, how the distribution server is connecting to your central server. User confirmation. So as I said, here we had some option of prompt the user for confirmation, right? What kind of confirmation you are wanting to ask the user is what you defined here. Hi, user Shakti, or hello, uh, Lakshman to control desktop. Something like this. So this user name will be the agent name who will be putting request for control. So that way we can customize this context, which is going to go as a pop-up, a small pop-up on the screen, middle screen, where the user will have hello, disallow. And you have a timeout for 30 seconds. Within 30 seconds, if user hasn't acknowledged it, the session that you have requested will get closed. And then you need to reinitiate that. Right? So this is an important thing, remote control operation, which will be applicable again in every endpoint management tools with similar operations settings that we have. And that is a must functionality in continuation or in connection with service management. Right? This is one. Second thing is system management operations. System management operations, what all we see from a system point of view. I see services, I see processes, I see device manager, I see event manager, shares, printers, command prompt, registry, so on and so forth. So from here itself, by clicking on manage, the list will populate like this, and I can take control anywhere. I can take control directly on the services to start, stop, restart a service, on the task manager to kill a process, to start a process, or to terminate a process. I can open the command prompt, execute some commands. I can go to registry to put some edits, modifications, deletions on the registry, and so on and so forth. So you can do from the configurations menu as a configuration policy. You can do from here directly by logging in to see those, task manager and other things on this menu. So this menu will be loaded when you click on task manager there, where you can take a control like this. This being a demo site, right? You're not getting the option to show in detail, but the menu will be somewhat similar. That is system manager operations. Besides that, example with respect to patch management, right? Or with respect to some vulnerability. Let's take an example of vulnerability. Now, there is some vulnerability which is detected in the organization, and we found somewhere, you found that on Shakti's PC, the vulnerability has entered in the organization and that is sitting there. Now, if we leave that for a longer duration or for a couple of hours or a couple of minutes like this, there is every possibility of broadcasting happening from his PC. So what I can do is I should unplug it from the network. That is number one, or I need to bring the computer down, that is shut down the computer. To unplug from the network, I need to access the network device respect to switch or firewall configuration and do it. Or I need to go to the knock room, remove the cable from there, which could be time. I feel it could be time consumption activity. So as I have a simpler console like this, I can simply go ahead, click on the user computer like this and shut down now. On demand, it is going to trigger a shutdown operation, shutdown token to the user PC, and the system will be right? This is on demand. If I want to do a maintenance on a scheduled window of the organization, I can do that scheduled shutdown as well from here when I want to trigger it. At what interval, right? That is on demand and schedule. Besides shutdown, I can also do a restart of a computer. I can also do a hibernate of a computer. I can also do standby, log the computers. The restart will be helpful whenever a security patch is installed on the computer, right? There is a mandatory restart required. So instead of we doing it immediately after the patch is installed, where user might be doing some operation on the PC and his work might get impacted, right? So we can go for a scheduled restart like this, again, on-demand restart or a scheduled restart by giving an information to the user that a patch is installed already on your computer and the system will be going for a restart on Friday, 6 o'clock. Something like that. So you can do it both ways. Similarly, standby, lock, and hibernate as well. On-demand operations, schedule operations. Right? When I'm restarting the computer, when I'm able to shut down a computer from here, from the endpoint management console, I should also be able to turn on a computer as well, right? That is also a requirement. So you can do that as well from the endpoint management tool using this wake up LAN, only on LAN environment, not on wireless, not on WAN environment. Okay. Now this, sorry, LAN and Wi-Fi, not on WAN. So to have this configuration enable, there are some prerequisites that you need to enable on the computer level from the BIOS point of view, and some settings need to be enabled on the respective switch router level as well. Once that is done in place and available, you can do an on-demand wake up like this from the console then and there, or you can go for a scheduled operation as well. As this being an endpoint management tool where we are able to take a remote control of a user PC for troubleshooting, right? Without knowing who is sitting on the other side, without knowing what is his pulse or what is the problem that he's facing and all. Looking into the mail context, we are able to take a remote control and do some troubleshooting. And to take the troubleshooting effectively to the next level, we can make use of this chat operations towards audio chat, video chat, and text chat as well. Like how we do from the Teams. In a similar way, we can use the available commercials license there on the endpoint management tool and trigger this text chat, audio chat, and video chat, where technician will be able to initiate with the user sitting on the other side, but not vice versa. Technician or the administrator only will be able to initiate this, but not user initiating with the agent. Once a technician is initiated, then the communication can take place, to and fro will go on, right? And its history will be seen. Who did what timestamp, how long the session, how long the conversation was running and all. Again, audit point of view. As a part of maintenance, there is some application maintenance happening, or there is some cleanup happening on the Exchange server, or there is some transaction log shipping happening from your database server, so on and so forth, right? At that point of activity, those applications might not work, or partially they might work, right? And the users who are depending on those applications, it is good from a practice that we update them prior. And that update we can do from this announcements menu. You can give a title, you can give a message, from what time till what time you want to have this announcement visible, one time or multiple times, at what interval. So this will be showing up as an announcement, a kind of pop-up or a kind of scrolling on top of this agent tray that we see on the right bottom. a kind of update that you give to the user. Not only your IT maintenance or IT operations, even your greetings, Diwali greetings, Vijayadashmi greetings, New Year greetings, birthday greetings. Like it can be extended to the HR as well, where they can as well use this as an announcement menu for regular updates, FIIs, inputs. System tools is another option that we have where we can do some disk check, disk cleanup, and disk defragmentation. Disk check to check the size, how it is, what it is, and all. Disk cleanup is to clean up the unwanted files, folders, like your temp that you clear regularly, right? Disk defragmentation as well. And trigger these as policies and all these temp files, temp folders that we have in a given duration with respect to the drive that you talk about, and trigger this onto the respective targets at a given interval that you want to specify and take it applied. One time operation or multiple times, every day, every week, every month. Click on finish. Daily, weekly, monthly, one system startup, system log on when it is idle. Configuration menu, and then you go for deploy. So this deploy will be a deploy upon refresh interval only. There's only one option here, which is having only at refresh interval. The rest all configurations on the console that we have seen, we were having two options, deploy and deploy immediately. So here immediate option is not there. Instead, it will go for refresh interval only. Right. So with that, what I say, the tools operations, in addition to the patch operation, software operation, and configuration operation, from an administration point of view and from technician operations point of view, I say 100% their operations can be driven, performed, audited, monitored from one single centralized endpoint management console. Example that we have seen, Desktop Central or Endpoint Central Plus. And these operations that we have seen, right? Patch, software, configurations, tools, inventory, reports, and dashboards. So this 6-7 operations, what we see, these are very much general in all endpoint management operations that we have in the market as of today. Mostly. I guess we are 1 hour past. Any questions, please, we can discuss. Kamal, Shakti, Varun, Vetri, questions?
Yeah, sir. In remote control, there will actually some. I have observed couple of times in few locations, remote control is not working.
Okay.
What might be the possible reason?
Communication.
Is there any restrictions allotted by vendor? Sorry, client, or else is there any issue with the product?
Answer is there in your question only. If it is working for some computers and not working for the other computers, it is issue from the environment. If it is not working for all the computers, then it might be a case not working from the application side or not working from the environmental side. So when you say some locations it is not working, what is that some locations? how it is different from the other working locations. Because this remote control, when the agent is initiating from the central console, it will be getting initiated on a port number 8444. So when this 8444 port number is open, allowed access both ways, that is server to agent and agent to server, both ways, TCP communication, then I would say it should work. In case if it is not working, then first thing you need to do a telnet from both sides on this port number and do a confirmation. That is number one. Before that, you need to ensure that the agent communication is in green.
Okay.
That's it. And there, even if you have done these two and if it is still not working, then probably you might need to do a check on the end user PC, firewall level, BitLocker level, the Windows Defender, if they have any other security software like CrowdStrike, antivirus, and all, you can do a check of that.
Yes,
And
sir.
if any restriction on the firewall level for any such TCP request for a remote call and all, if anything is enabled, probably you might need to take a call on that.
Okay, sir. One more thing.
Moreover, you will also get a reason when you're trying to initiate, right? If it is failing, it will throw a reason there. So that reason itself will give you most of the answer of why it is failing.
We are getting reason only we are going to get latest security news. Sorry, in tools we are going to get initiation activity alert only. No errors or no particular restriction. Because of this the activity got rejected, revoked. Actually, ఇక్కడ రాదు కదా sir. We were not going to get any alert regarding this remote access tool. For remote shutdown, you can get restart and all those things. We can get alerts, but coming to remote access, we are not going to get.
You're
Not
not
going to
getting
get
any error messages, what you say.
prompt. User gets prompt, and
Hmm.
they if they reject, we are going to know that. But sometimes we are getting separate window is getting opened and it's loading, and after a couple of minutes, the result is nothing. Just a network issue. Some strange window.
What is it strange window?
Some alert related network issue. Just as usual, we are going to see.
And that is what I'm saying, right? Some error or some menu should be there, which should give us a clue what is the problem. The user has got the acknowledgement, user has accepted it, the session is getting open. After a couple of seconds or couple of minutes, it is getting closed, then it is completely network issue, right?
And one more thing,
Moreover, in case if it is getting closed abruptly, at that timestamp, you can go and check the agent logs and server logs and find out what could be the reason as well.
yeah, that's my next story actually. Every time, very frequently, I'm getting requirement with server as well as agent logs. I can get agent logs, but coming to server, I'm not having any access, and client not here not accepting to give
Why you
server.
need access to the server to see the server logs? You can do the access from the console itself, right? From support tab.
From where, sir?
Support tab. You see the support tab here, right? Admin support agent. You see my screen?
Okay.
You see the support tab.
Okay.
You're getting me?
Yeah, yes, sir.
You see, right? So here you see this create support file. So this support file will generate all the latest traces which are recorded on the server, on the distribution server, on the managed server. If mobile device also you want to have it, it will also take from there. So normally if it is only for server, you take only from server, put your email address, it will throw attachment to your email address. You can download and see from there why you need to go for the server. Right?
I have not gone through this option.
You have not gone, meaning you haven't gone through the console options yet.
No, sir. In Gati as well as Restore Center console, in customized under customized menu, the support tab is there. It's not a there outside the window on the display. Immediately when you log into that, it is not displayed.
For you, it is not visible.
Yeah, above customized menu, it is there.
I'm not
There
getting
three
you.
dots. Last rightmost, yeah, three dots there.
Hmm.
Yeah, there custom support tab is there.
That is what does. See, as the menus here are more, you see on the dots here. Even
Okay.
there also, the answer is, the question is same. You haven't explored completely. In Gati console, the what you're talking, right? You don't have this vulnerability. You don't have this MDM. You don't have this menus. So even if it is shrinked under dots, which means the console menus are the UI resolution, the console menus are filled there. So it is giving you in this drop down, but still it is a part of that only, right?
Okay.
Console is with you. You have the login. So you need to explore all the menus, all the corners of the console. What this live chat is, what these new features are, what this FAQs is, what is this community. Most of your troubleshooting things will be addressed in this community forums. So all these are nothing but your general day-to-day operation discussions which are raised by other users, other partners. Any updates are released from Manage Engine tool point of view, that will be posted here. We can check it. So it's all self-explanatory. What all you see here in the support tab. You have knowledge base.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Any other questions? Vetri, you have any question?
No, sir. Clearly understand.
Kamal?
No, Lakshman. Yeah.
Okay. So if we have no questions, probably we'll close the call today. So tomorrow, as usual, we'll connect at the same time, 4:30, and we'll take, before I go there, there are few add-on modules or advanced modules in the Desktop Central tool that we have. Probably we'll spend some time there and then we'll go for some question answers, right? And then we'll take another tool and have a similar discussion like this. Okay. Shakti,
Yeah.
if you want to add anything, you can add. If not, we can close the call. Shakti? I guess he's busy, still on mute. Okay, we'll close the call. Anything, we'll just let me know. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.